Guys, we have this from the Post Millennial. It says here, even Biden's White House staffers did not know who operated the auto pen, according to the House Oversight Report. The committee finds numerous executive actions, particularly clemency actions taken during the Biden administration, that were illegitimate. The House Oversight Committee released a report on Tuesday regarding former President Joe Biden's auto pen usage while he was in office. The 100-page report urged the Department of Justice to review all executive actions taken by Biden while in office, including acts of clemency he issued. The committee, led by Chair James Comer, investigated whether senior Biden White House officials possibly exercised the authority of the former president or intentionally concealed President Biden's rapidly worsening mental and physical state. The committee has found evidence to indicate they both did. Joe Biden was not running the show. Our new report exposes how Biden's decline was real and his aides covered it up. Aides didn't even know who was operating the auto pen to sign official documents and pardons. Watch the truth they tried to bury.
Was the number one issue in the campaign the president's fitness or his age? Did you ever see President Biden in a wheelchair?
I do not recall ever seeing President Biden in a wheelchair.
And new information now on the people in his inner circle and how the cover-up actually operated.
Senior aides that worked here until just a couple months ago, the beginning of this year, manipulating an ailing president for their own gain.
How much were you paid for your role in the campaign in 2024?
Just a little bit short of $4 million.
I'm sorry, how much?
$4 million.
You believe that the president should stay in the race. Your own financial stake in the matter was a factor in any way in your advice to the president?
I don't believe that.
And when it comes to President Biden's decline, the official word from Biden world about all these news stories is that nothing has been revealed this week that shows that President Biden was anything but an effective president.
Yes, I noticed that he was aging in terms of his physical condition. I noticed that, he shuffled more.
That he has more stumbling over words and gaffes than he did at the beginning of the term.
The weird, eerie music is stupid. The report stated that Biden's senior staff were willing to conceal the president's cognitive deterioration as they all stood to gain significantly financially, politically, and professionally by continuing to operate the presidency from behind the scenes. Biden's physician, Dr. Kevin O'Connor, did not perform a cognitive assessment of President Biden and invoked his Fifth Amendment right when questioned by the committee. Testimony suggests that Dr. O'Connor's medical judgments were influenced by political advisors and that his financial ties to the Biden family presented conflicts of interest. The committee said, senior officials testified that political advisors interfered with decisions regarding President Biden's medical evaluations, explicitly rejecting calls for cognitive testing to protect his re-election prospects. Now, a lot of this is information that we already knew, right? A lot of this is, again, just like, and I bring it up constantly, just like the organ harvesting of organ donors. We all kind of knew that was happening. We knew that there was some shady stuff going on with that. But to get confirmation on it is something entirely different. To get confirmation of these things that we all assumed this was happening. It's one thing to assume. It's another thing to get confirmation that it's real. The investigation revealed holes in the chain of custody of the president's decision binder, which contained decision memos to be signed or initialed by President Biden when approving or disapproving executive actions, as well as numerous instances in which the president's approval for an executive action or the chief of staff's approval of signature by AutoPen was not memorialized, meaning there's no record. There's no record of him approving it. And again, like I have repeatedly said, this goes for anyone, Trump, Obama, the Clintons, Biden, I don't care who. If there's no record of them actually approving the signing of something, it should be null and void. It should be null and void unless you have documented proof that the president himself okayed the signing of something. No. And I don't even think they should use AutoPen, honestly. It should be hand signed by the president. If he's incapable of hand signing it, then it doesn't pass. It doesn't go through. That should just be that. Among the most flagrant of these instances are the clemency actions taken in the final days of the Biden presidency, which not only lacked the decision memo, but also raised serious concerns from the President Biden's own Department of Justice ethics attorney about whether the president was aware of the criminal backgrounds when making clemency decisions involving violent convicted criminals. The investigation found that there was no proper chain of custody for the documents which predicated President Biden's executive actions, and a cohort of people, including resident staff, had access to them. And that Biden, quote, allegedly made some executive decisions verbally and without documentation indicating that they came from the president himself or that he understood the decisions completely. Senior White House officials testified that they did not know who operated the AutoPen and its use was not sufficiently controlled or documented to prevent abuse. I mean, this is all what we suspected. This is everything that we suspected. It's finally we're starting to get more information about this, thankfully. But I mean, what do we do here? What if it turns out that President Biden did not approve these signings? Do they become null and void? Is a court going to rule that all of these pardons and stuff like that are null and void? That's what I want to know. The investigation found that White House staff may have ignored internal Biden administration recommendations that President Biden hand-signed pardons and other documents, and that Biden-era DOJ attorneys raised serious concerns about the pardon review process and President Biden's awareness of the violent criminal records of clemency recipients. The inner circle propped up the former president throughout his entire term and kept him in the 2024 race, despite indisputable evidence, acknowledged even today by only a few Democrats, that the former president was no longer fully in command. And that honestly, that's what won Donald Trump the election. If Biden had dropped out earlier or just didn't decide to run for re-election at all, maybe they would have gotten a better opponent to go up against Trump. Because the reason Trump won not only was obviously the attempted assassinations on his life and the lawfare against him only brought up more support for President Trump, but they also had a terrible candidate. What was Kamala's position on anything? Like, no one knows what her positions on anything was. Basically, her position was, I'm going to keep doing what Biden was doing. And what Biden was doing was terrible for the country. So, like, no one wanted it. No one wanted her. Now, at the end of the day, no one did. Hell, even New York and California had a high percentage of people voting in favor of Trump over Kamala. Even though he didn't win those states, what was it? California was like 40% for Trump. Some crazy high number like that. I don't know about New York. Joey would be able to speak to that one. But again, Trump had an actual chance in these states, and I think it's primarily due to Kamala being such a piece of crap. Let's see. Chairman Comer, we just got a Rumble rant from our sergeant. So very nice. Thank you, our sergeant. He said, so $2 Rumble rant from our sergeant. He said, okay, with the pardons, if he did not exclusively sign off, there should be some sort of electronic record with a list of names. Highly doubt there's still burning notes sent by carrier pigeon. Well, according to the committee, though, is they don't even have record. They don't even have record of him okaying the signing with the AutoPen. So they don't have any record of President Biden at the time approving or allowing the signing of some of these pardons or the signing of some of these executive actions. So if there's no evidence that he signed it himself or approved the signing with an AutoPen, I think it needs to be null and void, right? I think it would have to be null and void at that point. Chairman Comer also requested that the District of Columbia Board of Medicine review the actions taken by Dr. O'Connor while serving as the White House physician to President Biden for any potential wrongdoing in the medical care of the former president, including whether Dr. O'Connor produced false or misleading medical reports to the American people. The cost of the scheme to hide the fallout of President Biden's diminished physical and mental acuity was great, but will likely never be fully calculated. The cover-up put American national security at risk and the nation's trust in its leaders in jeopardy. Despite aide's best efforts to conceal President Biden's cognitive deterioration from the country, the former president's legacy is clouded with this scandal, as evidenced by President Biden's eventual withdrawal from the 2024 election. Barring evidence of executive actions taken during the Biden presidency showing that President Biden indeed took a particular executive action, the committee deems those actions take through use of the AutoPen as void. The validity of the executive actions allegedly approved and signed largely by AutoPen by President Biden must be reviewed to determine whether legal action is necessary to ameliorate consequences of any illegitimate pardons granted or executive actions implemented throughout the Biden AutoPen presidency. The committee finds numerous executive actions, particularly clemency actions taken during the Biden administration, were illegitimate. Therefore, the committee urges the Department of Justice to investigate all executive actions attributed to President Joe Biden. And it's unfortunate that we have to do that. If he did not hand sign it himself, or if there's this goes hand in hand, if he did not sign it himself and there is no record of him approving the signing of anything, it needs to be null and void. It needs to be revoked, and it needs to be looked at. That's what we have to do. Let's see, what are you guys saying in the chat? I mean, Joe was on TV being a dementia patient. That's all the proof I need. I mean, just go look at the debate he had with Trump. I mean, that was just sad. I think these officials need arrested for fraud at the least, and insurrection at the worst. I agree, Shitty The people that were subverting the democratic process and undermining the president, and using his condition to push forward agendas that they had, absolutely, they should need to face repercussions for that. If we can if we could figure out who did it. Put them in Alcatraz, you right? The Democrats desperately need this auto pen thing to disappear, because if something actually comes out of it, they're all effed. Yep, bro, we literally watched Joe Biden ish himself live on camera. Yeah, we did. Probably multiple times. He probably was doing it without even noticing. You know what I mean? Like, how many times were they shuffling him off stage and like, oh man, he needs to, he needs some new clothes. Man. Dude, that whole presidency was a joke. He should not have been president. He should not have been president. Part of me is glad that he is, because I feel like President Trump, for all my disagreements with Trump right now, I feel like it was good that he had to wait those 4 years, because I think we're now getting a better presidency. We're now getting a better second term than we would have if he had just continued on from that first year. Because we also have to keep in mind that there were a lot of people in Trump's administration that were feeding him bad information and were not on his side. I mean, just look at what happened after January 6th and after the election. So many people in his administration turned on him, and I feel like they would not have turned on him had he won re-election. So we got to see some of the snakes in the grass, and now we have a better second term because of it. I wish Democrats were effed. I thought they were effed with the whole mutilation of children thing, but here we are. They ain't stopping until we stop them, period. I mean, it just seems like look, what I keep saying is, even if we pump the brakes now, this country is a train. It's a train going full steam ahead, and guys, they tell you all the time, if a train hits a car, that car is getting shoved like another 8 to 10 miles down the road, because the train is not stopping. The train doesn't... Even if we hit the brakes now, it's too late. It's already too late. We hit the brakes now, the train's still going. The train is still going. It's not going to stop in time. So I don't know what we do. I worry about where we go as a country. But things like this do make me a little bit more hopeful, bringing things to light, and all that good stuff. Hopefully something actually happens, because it seems as of right now that a lot of things are coming to light and then nothing happens. So I don't want to be the guy that's like, oh, nothing ever happens, but things are happening. Things are happening. It's just not as quickly as we need them to. We're almost... It's the end of the year, basically. We're about to go into November. We're probably going to have some crazy riots with this whole SNAP benefit stuff. And it's going to get crazy, man. And there was a lot of Republicans, and this is not a talking point from me. This is conservatives and Republicans. A lot of them said that we only have a year to a year and a half to push through Trump's agenda before the election rolls around, because we're about to go into an election year. We have the midterms coming up. So as we go into an election year, a lot of these people are not going to be pushing as hard as they could be, because they want to get reelected. So we'll see. I don't know where this goes. Do you think our side will ever wake up, or are we going to say, slow down there, Democrats, until we are up against a wall? My theory on that, Shitty Gov, is that it's one big party and we're not in it. And the only reason that they do that is because they actually want what the Democrats want. They are just not open about it. I think a lot of conservatives and Republicans are like, slow down there, Democrats, because they actually want a lot of what they're pushing. They just don't want to come out and say it. So that's why they're like, whoa, hang on, slow down. We don't need to go against them that hard. And then you see the other side literally killing people that just want to have conversations. So I don't know. Two sides of the same coin. Two sides of the same coin. Red or blue, they both, both wings flap for the same bird. That's what I think. Anyway, we can move along to the next and final story of the day.